It's Wednesday night. It's October 12th, 2022. Brand new episode of the Kicking Out Podcast A. Coming at you. I'm Tanner Lee, the KOP champ. Right here.
For now. Self-proclaimed.
Full crew tonight. Paul Zartman, Austin Shepard joining me. How's it going, fellas? How'd you like the first international episode of Dynamite?
There was less maple syrup than I anticipated. No, I'm kidding. It was a good show.
It was one of their better ones. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yep, I thought it was pretty good too. Hot crowd all night.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can tell they were excited to have those guys there.
Yeah, they've been waiting a
absolutely.
while. So, yep, good show. A lot to talk about. So, Paul, I'll let you dive right into it.
All right. Tonight's show begins with the newest member of All Elite Wrestling, Renee Paquette, making her first appearance, and she welcomes out Christian Cage. He says it's great to be back in Toronto, and as the face of Canada, he guarantees a win. Just like the Toronto Maple Leafs losing in round one, and he brings out Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy comes charging out with a drop kick to his former tag team partner, follows it with one to the back, and he then yanks up the top rope while standing on the back of him, following it up by diving over the ropes to slap Luchasaurus, taking a page out of Cage's book. As we get towards the end, Jungle Boy comes in with some elbow strikes and then a crucifix bomb, and this time the bigger man has to kick out of the pin attempt. Jungle Boy looks for a kill switch, but Luchasaurus reverses, only for Jungle Boy to turn it around and plant him down. He then hits the kill switch engage, but yet again Luchasaurus kicks out. Jungle Boy locks in the snare trap, but Luchasaurus gets the ropes and Cage holds him as well. Cage then distracts Jungle Boy, and that allows Luchasaurus to throw Jungle Boy across the ring, spiking him down to the ring for the win. It's a pretty solid first match.
Yeah, let's go back and talk about Renee making her debut. A lot of the dirt sheets kind of caught wind of this late last week. Sounds like WWE put some fillers out, wanted to get her back in the company. She said no, so their assumption was that she was coming to AEW, and she said on Twitter her and John were going home for Canada's Thanksgiving, but also next week, which is probably true, but also next week's in Cincinnati where they live. What a perfect time to debut in the company. So home country, then her home city. So I think she'll bring a lot of value to the company. She's really talented. And then there's a report today that came out that Warner Brothers really happy with AEW and wants to get some more shows involving AEW that it's not necessarily in-ring content. So she'll probably fit right in there.
I think it's a great addition. I really liked her on commentary back in the day. Mm-hmm. I think she can bring some value there. Also, after the news of over the weekend with John, I mean, is it part of his extension too? Like, hey, look, obviously there's rumors that he's going to be exclusive to AEW and not do any of his independent stuff anymore. He says he can go wherever he wants. Either way, it's kind of funny that all of a sudden he gets an extension, a little bit more responsibility in the company, and then all of a sudden, hey, my wife's got a role too. So, hey, if he's going to make it his home, might as well bring the family along.
Yeah, good point. Congratulations, John Moxley, 5-year contract extension. He is the face of the company. Didn't want to go anywhere else. It'll be interesting, like you said, Shep, if he still can work some GCW or independent stuff going forward. But good for him to be more of a coach and mentor rep or a mentor role too, aside from being just a talent. So that was a big deal because AEW couldn't afford to lose him.
No, they couldn't.
And after the backstage incidents where this guy basically gave up his 6-week vacation and said, okay, I'll do what's best for business and I'll put this company back on my shoulders. So I think that's going to obviously pay dividends for him and his wife down the road. So, hey, kudos for TK for recognizing that and paying him.
Yep. So I'm anxious to see what Renee can bring to the table. I mean, we saw her a bunch tonight with backstage interviews, and she's probably already towards the top of the list as far as backstage interviewers go in the company, because that's not really one of their strong suits. You don't always want to put Shivani back there. So
no. I want to see her on maybe some commentary. So as long as she doesn't put a mask on her face.
Hey, they could do a backstage type show. They got the whole crew there now. Adam Cole and Saraya and Punk for now at least, and Renee and Samoa Joe
presents Backstage Brawl.
So, but good opening match. Christian Cage coming out getting some heat. I like the Maple Leaf line. I'm always a sucker for go at the hometowns, one of their sports teams. And the Maple Leafs, the one you can definitely make fun of because they haven't won anything in so long. Good opening match. I was a little surprised by the result, but yet I wasn't because it makes sense with the story. But yet, Jungle Boys had taken some big L's lately, so it is kind of surprising, but makes sense with the story.
But they did say something during the match that kind of caught my attention. This was more than just a feud between these two because both men were undefeated since the split as a tag team. I didn't catch that until they brought it up, and I don't know if that's accurate. I thought Jungle Boy had a loss or two, but I guess I could be wrong.
I did off the top of my head too, but now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know because he was injured for a little bit.
Yeah.
Came back and beat Christian. Or did he beat Christian? Why can I not remember now? That all out. I should remember. I don't remember.
I'll go to trusty Google because the internet never lies.
Because I think Shep and I missed bad on that prediction.
Yeah, we both thought it was Jungle Boy.
And I think Christian won though. I think Christian won that though.
It was a quick match.
Yeah.
Because Christian was hurt.
Right. Paul's doing the research. But what was your thoughts on the opener tonight, Shep?
I thought it was a good match. And you know me, I'm not a big fan of big guy versus little guy, but I thought these guys worked well together. Kept me entertained. Mm-hmm. Obviously kept the crowd entertained. Crowd was excited for it towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maybe one or two too many false finishes, but hey, I mean, if we're getting nitpicky there, I thought to open the show with a match that I traditionally wouldn't be interested in, it got me hooked. I enjoyed it. So, and it kept the feud going. That's one thing I've always harped on AEW is storytelling. So I think we're getting a little storytelling with these three. So, hey, keep it going. So, I like the way they did it. Well played.
Yeah. By the way, at All Out, Christian defeated Jungle Boy in a match that went 33 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
So commentary was wrong. Unless they're counting that as not officially splitting, but I mean, Luchasaurus helped helped Christian win that by attacking Jungle Boy.
Yeah, that's right. He attacked him on the stage. Now I remember. And then got in the ring, and
that's why he's got the tape on his back still.
Hit the kill switch.
Spear and then a kill switch and took the victory.
Maybe they were talking about Dynamite and Rampage only.
Maybe. So after our opening segment, we head backstage to Shep's favorite, Stokely Hathaway, who reveals that he has purchased the Street Profits contract, and Matt Hardy says he will fight for their contracts. Paige insists they fight for themselves, so he will face Isaiah Kennedy for them. But if Paige wins, they will own Hardy's contract as well.
I like Ethan Page on my TV. I wish he gets more. I wish he would get more TV time. But besides that, I don't care about this story. I'm sorry. It just doing nothing for me. We've been there, done that with the Hardy Party or whatever they call them, and I don't care. Private Party was awesome in 2019, and I just don't care about him anymore.
I'm over a depressed Matt Hardy.
That too.
Yes.
I mean, look, I know this isn't how he visioned his last
AEW run.
Yeah, especially his last run. Obviously, Jeff put a little detour in that one, but yeah, I can't get involved in this. I hate Stokely. God, I can't stand that guy. Ethan Page, I think, is good. I don't like him with Stokely.
Right.
I think Ethan Page could be great.
He doesn't need help as a mouthpiece. He's great on the mic.
I don't. When I say great, I think he could be a great TBS champion around that. Maybe get a main event tickle here or there, but
TNT, Shep, TNT.
I said TBS, didn't I?
Yes.
I think he'd be a good All Atlantic eventually.
Yeah.
He or going back to the segment, and we were talking about Matt Hardy. Yeah, the Jeff thing unfortunately took a detour, but really since Matt Hardy entered AEW, nothing's really gone right for him. I mean, he debuted on the first pandemic show. You know, should have got a huge pop with the crowd, and then so the broken character never went over because there was no crowd. Then he got hurt against Sammy at All Out, which was just terrifying. And then after that, it's been like trying different character changes, and it just hasn't fit. I don't know.
The only way that they can do anything is they continue with the depressed Matt, which obviously they're going to, and that leads to him becoming broken Matt Hardy again.
You can give it one more try, I guess, especially if Jeff can come back. But
if he come back as Brother Nero.
Have Brother Nero show up and then try to pull broken Matt out of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Worth a try, I guess.
Yeah. We head to the ring for everybody's favorite faction, the Factory, with QT Marshall mocking the name of the newest tag team, Ward Joe. He's quickly cut off as the TNT champion makes his way to the ring. He and Nick Camarado try to attack their opponents before the bell, but that doesn't work out. And Samoa Joe throws hands to Marshall in the corner, looks for a muscle buster, but Camarado makes the save and gets beaten up as well. Marshall tries to hit him with a splash, but the veteran simply sidesteps him. At the end of the match, Ward Joe wins, which we knew was going to happen. Joe came in and to hold the mat, allowing Wardlow to hit a huge senton while Joe locks in the Kakina clutch. So
funny you said QT Marshall, which is to me a Jim Cornette reference, because that he makes fun of him that way. If you looked behind on the camera side, there was a guy about 6-7 rows up wearing a Jim Cornette t-shirt and Jim Cornette's face on it, which I think I noticed it. But if you noticed, I think the last two matches, either that guy was removed or they made him change his shirt, because all of a sudden Jim Cornette's face was gone.
It was gone. Interesting.
It was gone. And I was watching, especially in the main event, and I'm like, okay, is the guy gone? Did they remove him or did they make him change his shirt? And towards the end, I think they made him change his shirt because there was a guy with the black shirt on. So maybe made him turn it inside out, which I know WWE used to do all that stuff. You had a shirt to sign. They we've never heard that in AEW, but
no, like
the first half of the show, I'm like, there's a Cornette shirt, whatever. Cornette's very, very critical on AEW, gives very little praise, but very critical. And I'm thinking this guy paid premium money to have, a premium seat, and he's wearing a Jim Cornette shirt. So if you notice that towards the end, that guy's gone or he changed his shirt.
Interesting. I wonder if Cornette will catch wind of that and talk about that on one of his pods coming up.
He loves to do it. Him and Saraya went back and forth at it today.
Oh, did they? I'll have to get on Twitter and look at
that. She made a comment about it, and he quoted
ate it up.
And next thing you know, there's likes and comments, and they're darn near trending. So,
QT, I don't care for him on screen. I think he's pretty valuable to the company, though. It sounds like he's one of Tony's right hand guys. There was a report from Fightful that said he's kind of moved up to one of Tony, along with Shivani and a few others. He's kind of a guy Tony leans on. So
he was the head trainer to start his deal.
Yeah, and he and Cody Rhodes still have the Nightmare Factory. they just opened up a new gym somewhere in Georgia. So
Yeah.
but besides that, match was fine. I mean, it was whatever, squash.
Typical squash. Yeah, if the factory is involved, it's a squash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can just. I think the only way it's not a squash is if the factory was taking on Fuego del Sol and Marco Stunt. There we go. I'll bring Marco back into it for you, Tanner.
Please don't.
Why?
Just because I can.
So bad.
All right. Hey, you know what? Marco had more wins than the Denver Broncos currently do. So,
wow. Wow.
Post match, the embassy make their way out, and Prince Nana says he's disappointed in Ward Joe for sticking their noses in their business. Cage then repeats that message, and he says if he hasn't said FTR all day, but then they appear. My favorite part of this. Go ahead.
Can we start calling FTR's pop an FTR pop? I know we always refer to it as Road Warrior pop, but every week they get a huge pop. So I think that needs to be a term used in wrestling now.
I'm good for it with the FTR pop. We'll make it start right here on KOP. So when it takes off, we'll get credit for it.
On Dynamite though.
What's up?
Can we get him to wrestle on Dynamite?
Oh God! When's the last time we've seen them together in a 2-on-2 tag match?
Yep.
All out. Trios.
Yeah. Anyway.
But then they say that, these guys have worked hard. They can't ask them to be in a match on Friday night. And they say, oh, by the way, what time does Rampage start? And, they count to 10, which is, kind of cool because then Sean Spears comes out and he's now the perfect 10 Sean Spears.
I think it's good. I like the repackage.
Yeah.
He needed something. We hadn't seen him on TV for a while. So it's always nice to bring somebody back, and either if they were a heel and change them to babyface, or if they're a baby, change them to heel. I mean, his chairman gimmick was kind of cool. It had his moments, and with the Pinnacle and everything. He took time to be with his wife, Cassidy Lee. They're expecting a child if they haven't had it already. But no, I liked it. Big pop from the crowd. Interesting play with the Pinnacle. They even brought up the Pinnacle, and
they brought the name up.
I wish the camera focused on him and Wardlow a little more. I mean, you could see it, but they were zoomed out, their embrace, because that was they kind of stared at each other for a little bit and then embrace. So Pinnacle's all back together except one member.
And they're all baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you think back, we said that was one way you could tear the Pinnacle apart, is have everybody but MJF turn babyface.
Here we are.
Yeah. KOP calls it right again.
Oh, that was cool. That's one thing. This show had a lot of things that would only happen in Canada happen, like that. Yeah. Renee's debut, even Ethan Page he'll be on Rampage, Canadian. I mean, Tony did it right with that in that aspect.
Absolutely. All right. Up next, we got Swerve Strickland taking on Billy Gunn. I was not too sure how I felt about this match when
I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it.
I was, but I sat through 3 hours of television for a 5-minute segment Monday night.
That's your own damn fault.
Thanks, Tanner.
You're welcome.
But yeah, Billy Gunn definitely looks better than the other guys he was with 25 years ago.
Billy can still work. He throws the best working punches. I've always loved watching his punches, and he's in phenomenal shape. He can still go. I was surprised by his record, though. I can't believe how many matches he's had in AEW in 3 years. Yeah, 50 plus.
Yeah. So much for he's leaving us to go work for a pissant t-shirt company, huh?
Right. He's just working with office equipment.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they said, or something like that? I watched.
Yes.
I read about it. Oh.
Yes.
Corey Graves made that comment.
Corey Graves, the other guy's doing something with office equipment these days. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's the only acknowledgement we're going to get. Okay.
It would have been interesting if he did partake in that, though, because I think the crowd would have
gone nuts.
Yeah.
Well,
daddy ass chant.
In my opinion, we kind of got shades of DX Billy Gunn tonight. with the pull in the back of the pants down, the green tights. So yeah, but overall it was a pretty interesting match. At the end, Strickland grabs the ropes to help get the 3 count, even though Billy was 3/4 of the way under the ropes. When I looked at it, I was very, very confused by that. But
I like how Swerve did that though. It wasn't just a hand on the ropes. I mean, he put his whole arm and hooked it, and it was just unique. He's so good as a heel. I still think, I'm telling you, within the next 2 years, I think he's a world champ in the company. He's been that good for him.
All right, but I will say I will take more Billy Gunn on Dynamite. He doesn't have to always wrestle on Rampage and
he
Dark.
Is so over. He's just so over. It's incredible. Near 2022.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping for a Scissor Me chant Monday, but I didn't get it, so I'll live with it.
He's in great shape, but man, was he breathing hard 3 minutes ago.
He was. I don't know how his endurance is, but
yeah.
He can still do the sit-ups. He can still do the push-ups. He can still, work out. But there's a difference when you're going, 10 minutes with Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, they might want.
It won't me harping on somebody's cardio.
Hey, there's only one of us who probably has good cardio in this group, and Shep, it's not you or me.
Not me either. So
the little guy.
Yeah,
the little guy. Yeah. After the match, the Acclaimed come to the ring to check on Billy Gunn because his leg was kind of messed up during the match. Then everybody's favorite self-proclaimed lawyer, Mark Sterling, appears with Tony Nese.
I like Sterling. I could care less about Nese.
Exactly. They have a.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but he was wearing a Josh Woods T-shirt.
Yep.
Which this is funny. I always notice that wrestling guys or professional wrestlers wear their own T-shirt. Okay, That's just their thing. The other thing I'm a fan of is dirt racing. Okay, we talked about it before, Tanner. If you go to a dirt racing, every driver's wearing a race shirt, but it's somebody else. Like they make fun of you if you wear your own shirt in dirt racing. So I thought it was odd or coincidental. I don't know that he was wearing another wrestler's shirt.
I think it was a half and half, Shep. I think it had Woods on one side and Nese on the other side.
Yeah, I thought it was all Wood.
I think so. But yeah, if not, that's interesting. If it was, because usually they are wearing their merch to promote it so they can get the money, he says. Danhausen says.
The monies.
Yeah. That guy.
All right, Paul. There's one of my rabbit holes for the night.
No, you're fine, Shep. You're fine. So Sterling appears with Tony Nese. They have a document sent to them from the greatest state in the world, or the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Way to get cheap heat. And Sterling now owns the term scissor me, which means the team can't do the action, say the words, and money from their T-shirts goes to him. He says if they do any of their normal stuff, he will sue them so hard they will be stuck in court and they will have to forfeit their titles. Sterling is willing to work with them if they have an offer, but until then, he says, scissor me, Daddy Nese.
Yeah, I don't like it. It'll be short-lived. The crowd's going to do it anyways, and that's what they expect. It'll be short-lived. There'll be some clause where they'll win a match and get it back.
Kind of like Wardlow versus Security.
Yeah, we'll see Acclaim versus Woods and Nese.
Yep. On a rampage.
Quick 5-6 minute match to get it back.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, the rap down to the ring will be longer than the match.
Yep. His rap was good tonight. His rap was good tonight.
It was good. I think his raps are getting better week to week.
Yeah, he's been hitting on them pretty good. At first when he started it, like when the claim became a thing, I'm like, who is this guy? Like John Cena wannabe, but then he's pretty skilled.
That's exactly what I thought.
And then he got in trouble about halfway through his little run. He got a little
the Julia Hart comment against the Varsity Blahs. He might have taken a step a little too far, but
he made a couple good ones tonight. But I like that he keeps it up to date, whether it's in wrestling, politics, whatever's going on in our pop culture nowadays. I like that he keeps it fresh. So.
Yep. It's not the same thing, and you don't find even similar phrases anymore. There were some pretty close ones, but now he's, developed it enough that nothing sounds the same apart from the beat behind him.
They're stupid over too. They get a huge pop every week. Their merch is selling better than anybody's on shopaw.com. So kudos to those guys.
So where does FTR come in? I mean, I know eventually our whole. Let me rephrase this. The goal, not our goal, their goal is to hold the AEW championship with the other three. So they have the major 4 championships in professional wrestling. But you can't have the 2 biggest over faces in the company, FTR versus the Acclaimed. Maybe you can. Maybe you do that, but how do you transition these belts to FTR? Because eventually they got to have them, right?
If they could heat up another, if you can heat up another tag team, which I don't know who that is off the top of my head, to a certain spot, then you can do a triple threat. But I don't know who that is. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. FTR and Aussie Open had a bang.
Oh my god!
Match over
Oh my god! Yeah.
I mean, those guys beat the tar out of each other. That's probably being nice.
Well, and back to your FTR point. Eventually, we got to get them in the Bucks 3. But God, who knows when the Bucks and Kenny are going to be back? I mean, we're hoping soon.
6 months.
You know, Matt Jackson said, "See you guys soon" on Instagram last week, so that got a lot of people speculating it might be tonight. But I think until the legal stuff gets handled, we're not going to see them.
6 months. We'll see BTE before we see them.
Although one of the dirt sheet guys, Ace Steel, put on a video on Twitter today, which is counts private, so he's got to follow you for you to see it. And it was an old Blues Brother song, Freedom. So that was about, I don't know, an hour before Dynamite started tonight. So I felt like maybe they just finally said, "Hey, look, we're done with you. Here's a check right off into the sunset." But he's a lot easier to get rid of than the other 4 that are involved. So
Yep. That's for sure.
Wrestling Inc. did an exclusive interview. I think it was Nick Hausman actually who did it, who was the one to ask Punk a question. It wasn't even trying to ask him the question that Punk went off on. He interviewed Dave Meltzer, and Meltzer talked a lot about it, and Meltzer said kind of what he knows, but he said, I don't even know really what's going on. So everybody's just speculating right now.
Nobody knows.
Do you think the longer this draws out, they settle, calmer heads prevail, and then they get together and say, we can make a lot of money off of this?
I think they should from a business standpoint, but
I mean,
if you know anything about Punk, Punk's a pretty stubborn guy. So
yeah, but if we could get a Punk Omega into this, or I don't know, if this Ace Steel or whatever his name was gone, get somebody to tag with Punk against the Bucks. I think they can make some money off of this, make some T-shirt sales.
Well, heck, they could go Punk FTR against the Elite trios. I know we want FTR together, but I mean the Punk's their buddies, so
yeah.
Now, I also wonder how differently this would play out if Punk didn't tear his tricep and wasn't out 8 months.
Yeah, he's
because he's out no matter what.
Yeah,
spin it or not, he's off TV till God knows when.
We got another 7 months before they can think about it.
So I wonder if he didn't get hurt, if this plays out any different than it is right now. I don't know.
Well, I've seen, and you guys dig deeper into the dirt sheets than I do. I've seen something somewhere today that said TK was in an interview and kind of brought up the fact that Punk has an office job.
Yeah, he let that slip with Adrian. I always butcher the guy's last name. It starts with an H. He's an MMA and pro wrestling media guy.
Hawani?
Yeah, that might be it. The H starts with an H.
Yeah, I like Hawani.
Yeah. Yeah, he interviewed TK last week.
He had Punk on a couple weeks ago. Him and Punk are awesome together. Or I'm sorry, MJF.
And I think this was the interview. If not, it was another one because
TK did a lot of right.
Yeah, Ariel, not Adrian. My bad.
Okay, Ariel. Yeah.
It might have been this interview, or if not, it was a different one because TK's done a lot of media lately, pumping up a few shows, and he let it slip that Punk had an office job.
Yeah.
So that might be why this is taking a while too.
What kind of office job could you put Punk at?
I'm guessing it's kind of like an EVP job, but not an EVP job. Maybe he took some of the roles that Cody had.
Is he managing a Target that TK owns somewhere?
Hey, maybe
Jaguars.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
TK went out and bought 3 or 4 Targets and said, "Punk, you're in charge."
TK's got the money. That's the bad part. He'd do it too.
Yeah.
As long as I've even heard, and I know people were just poking fun at it at this point. Maybe it's with the Jags.
I don't know. Could you just be in a wheeling down Target, CM Punk to Home Goods, aisle 8, CM Punk to Home Goods.
It'd be Phil Brooks.
Oh yeah, Phil Brooks to Linens. Phil Brooks to Linens.
Oh, that'd be great. Hey, can you sign this towel for me?
Yeah, I'd be walking down Target with my cart and hear that, and I'd piss myself. I'd laugh so hard.
That'd be great.
He'll buy all the ice cream bars. So
sure.
Yeah, he'll buy everybody some ice cream. All right, back to the show.
This is what we do.
Yes. So after the Scissor Me Daddy niece happens, we go backstage where MJF is interviewed and Stokely interrupts. So we get Stokely in twice in one night. Excuse me. MJF doesn't find it funny and he puts him out on timeout. He says strike one was last week when he got involved without being asked. And if he does it again, he will be fired. MJF then says William Regal is as villainous as Mary Poppins. And he doesn't want to be reminded of their dark past. He doesn't know if he was going to shake hands with Wheeler Yuta, but he knows nice guys finish last. He knows the locker room hates him, but people don't have a clue what it's like to be him. Knowing he has to be the bad guy, he says he doesn't like himself either, but that's what it takes to be world champion, and he will do that.
This was awesome. MJF is money. I loved all of this. Is he turning into a tweener, guys, right now?
Yes.
Oh, for sure. I like it.
I mean, he's still an asshole, but yeah, like there's some more to his character since he's returned. Like there's some more layers, and like today, I mean, he's explaining why he's an asshole, and I like it a lot.
So 2 things I get. One, I thought this was going to be the best promo of the show. And then we get one from Hangman later on tonight that I thought, man, that was pretty damn good too.
Mm-hmm.
But I was pumped about MJF's 2 things. The history with him and Regal, is that when Regal passed on him in NXT back in the day?
That's what I was trying to think. That was the only thing I could come up with.
That's what I think. Like, hey, look, you passed on me at one point in your career. So I like
Don't come back begging me now.
Yeah, I like that reference. And the 2, when you say the tweener, there's one guy that was a tweener that became the biggest star in professional wrestling in the Attitude Era, and that's Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Stone Cold was a heel
and
an asshole, and then he just exploded.
Yeah. He did what every American wanted to do, go at the boss.
Yes.
And he did it.
So I can see, and MJF can be a great face. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The stuff that comes out of his mouth, he can make you cheer for him. So, and he's going to say whatever is on his mind, which Stone Cold made millions doing. So, yeah, I loved it. I love it right now.
He is on pace to become AEW's highest paid guy in 2024 when his contract's up.
I mean, as long as we know TK's got the funding. That's
right.
and I know he's going to play this bidding war to 2020, which is great. He's going to sell merch. He's probably going to sell merch. He's going to sell tickets. Now, if for some reason Triple H decides to call father-in-law and say, "Give me the checkbook," I mean, God, could you see MJF making a 4 or 5 year run in the WWE and then coming home to AEW and just say, "Hey, look, guys, I took the money."
Yeah.
Screw you.
Never say never.
I mean, he's only what, 24, 25?
I think it's 25 or 26.
Okay. So he literally could go away for 5 years and come back and explode in his 30s.
Yep.
So his tagline, generational talent, is about as spot on as you can be.
Well, in last week's Shep, I know you weren't on the podcast. Paul and I were talking about him against Wheeler Yuta last week, and I said it's good to see him back in the ring, first time since a Double or Nothing. And we can count usually on one hand, maybe barely two, how many matches per year we get of MJF on TV, but he always makes them count, always.
Yeah.
And it was a great match last week, and I love the way they finished it. I love the handshake, and then purple-haired dude came out of nowhere. I'm like, who's this guy?
Oh, the Lee Moriarty.
Yeah, Lee Moriarty.
He's got green hair now.
I don't know. I had enough medication in me last week.
Rainbow.
I could have called different colors. I don't know.
We were talking of age. I know Paul knows this from last week's episode. Shep, did you realize Sammy Guevara is 29 years old? I thought he was like 25.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Because we were talking about last week, of course, we didn't know what we know now about him and Andrade, and we were saying that Sammy needs to grow up, which maybe he still does need to grow up. And I'm like, dude, you're almost 30. Like, come on.
Yeah. Did you watch his vlog this week? That just came out.
I have not watched it yet.
I have not either.
So it's clickbait.
Of course, it is every week.
Yeah.
That's the title to his vlog, what happened at Backstage.
Yeah.
You watch 20 minutes of Sammy stuff, and then the last 4 minutes he's sitting on a balcony in Brazil saying, "Look, I'm not going to talk about negativity, blah, 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 blah." So he didn't address the thing. I saw Flair came out and said, "You don't want to mess with Manny," which is Andrade's name. Like, you don't want to mess with that dude. I saw where he came from. I saw where he grew up from. You don't want to mess with him. So
Jimmy Van today, he and Sean Rossap were actually live together because Sean was in Toronto. They always do the Listen Your Boy show live at 4 o'clock on Wednesdays. And he was asked by a fan about Andrade, and SRS pretty much said, "I'm not going to cover it more than it's already been covered." Because they were asking him, is he trying to get fired? He pretty much said, "I'm not going to say anything more to that." So,
I mean,
I think the writing's on the wall. I think he wants out of the company.
Yeah.
He wants to go back home.
One of my favorite matches from NXT was Andrade and Gargano.
I know. Yeah.
Those guys tore the flipping arena down.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's where he feels more comfortable, that's where he feels more comfortable.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's a heck of a performer. So his wife's there. His father-in-law has ties there. Could be brought back anytime. So whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't like him. He's with the attorneys and this and that. He's with a faction. Now him and he's with Roosh.
Roosh is doing just fine.
Yeah, I mean those guys could be a killer tag team. Or I don't know. I almost feel like he's doesn't need to be in a faction. Everybody has to be a faction in AEW.
I know.
Let's get away from that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Up next, we got Jon Moxley. Moxley says it's good to be back in Toronto. He talks about how different people have tried to take his title over the years. Being world champion isn't as easy as you have a target. People want something from you always. You live in pain, and lots of guys get to that point and they crumble and self-destruct, some faster than others. He says a champion doesn't have the luxury of doubt, as it's a dirty job and you need to be ruthless, and he loves this job. We get Hangman out there next, and this is great from Hangman, in my opinion. He makes his way down, asks for the microphone, which the champion provides. Page tells him whatever he has to say about him. He wants Moxley to say it to his face, but he thinks he said it all last week. Page said he'd be lying if he didn't say that what Mox said last week meant the world to him, because he has watched him and has come to respect him in and out of the ring. Page puts over Moxley as champion, a father, and a husband. MJF is then shown watching them. I think MJF got to this segment a little late. Have to go from backstage to up top.
I did see a lot of people on Twitter weren't happy that he came out because they thought it overshadowed the segment a little bit. And to go earlier to our conversation about him being a tweener, all you got to do is watch the crowd's reaction. They start chanting MJF right away when he was up there. So he kind of did overtake the segment for a little bit, but I thought these two guys did a great job of bringing the focus back on him.
Yeah. Page says Moxley shattered the illusions he had when he called him a kid, and Moxley admits that is exactly what he thinks about him. He doesn't think Page is the same guy that knocked him off a ladder, and if he gets the shot to take him out, he doesn't think Page has it in him to pull that trigger. Page admits he might not be the same guy. He hesitated in May, and it cost him the title. He went for the Trios Championship, and he failed. Then week after week, they seemingly disappeared. His old friends have gone. Page is left with nothing, and he is angry. He can't sleep. He's depressed, and the medicine isn't working, but he's still there because he is a man. He's a father and a husband. He's been beaten till he been choked till he turns blue, and then beaten in that same face, but he keeps coming back because he's a man, as he punches himself in the head repeatedly. I thought he was going to give himself a black eye there for a minute.
I think he did.
It reminded me of, do you guys, I think it was like 09 TNA, Flair and Foley, a promo, and they bust each other open themselves the hard way.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of when they're just hitting each other.
Yeah. I think.
He got color.
Yeah. I think he thought he got more than he did, too, from the way he kept.
He swelled up pretty good.
Yeah. Page says he knows what he has to do, and he doesn't care if Moxley has family in the crowd. He will do whatever it takes to get that title back. He says he will be the next AEW World Champion, and unlike MJF, he wanted to tell Mox that face to face, and he shoulders him on the way out. This was a good segment from.
I think it was the strongest of Hangman's career, at least in AEW, on the mic.
Oh yeah, yeah. It felt like real.
Yeah, it felt like raw emotion.
Yep. Well, the guy probably has some pent up. I mean, he's got drugged through the mud by CM Punk a couple times the last few months, so he's probably ready to unleash some emotion. But it's gonna be an awesome match next Tuesday night in Moxley's hometown of Cincinnati. Don't see Mox losing, but it's still gonna be fun.
Yeah. Does MJF get involved? I want to get your guys' predictions.
No,
I don't think so. But I think we get
he makes his presence known.
Yep. He'll make his presence known, and then I think we get the main event of Full Gear, Mox and MJF.
All right.
That's where I'm putting the title on the line. I don't know if it's against one of you, both of you. I really don't care.
Well, just know it doesn't matter, because just like MJF, I've got my poker chip.
There's that stupid chip you brought out again last week.
Yep. I got my chip now, Shep, so you can challenge him, and I'll just hold on to my chip.
I don't lose at anything I do. You want to predict wrestling? You want to cook chili? What do you want to do?
Decorate a chili booth. How about that?
I had lights this year.
Hey, I told you guys earlier I'm bringing shots tonight, so be prepared.
What are we having?
Yeah.
Oh. We're not talking about those shots?
No, not those type of shots. We're talking MJF shots.
Dax would be disappointed.
I know.
Yes, he would.
I just wish I liked tequila as much as that dude.
I know.
That dude drinks tequila like orange juice on a Sunday morning.
Tequila, his coffee, and his occasional wine on his Twitter.
I like a good red wine, but I'm like, that guy drinks tequila and it looks like it's refreshing, and I drink tequila and I look like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it in most of the times than not.
Yeah.
You tired every once in a while.
Terramana. There you go. Dwayne The Rock.
Yeah. Up next, we get Jericho versus Danielson for the ROH World Championship match. Not gonna lie, I kind of felt like I knew the outcome, which turned out to be accurate, but the end of the match is what got me, and we'll get to that in a minute. Jericho tries to shake Danielson's hand, but the challenger kicks it away, and the two men then begin chopping each other as they then show more aggression. We got the label lock, the walls of Jericho, Jericho being put in the walls of Jericho by Danielson, which that just seems overdone. I think like every time anybody takes on Jericho in a big field match, they always try to lock the walls in on him. And everybody seems so shocked by it. And it's like, it's overdone at this point.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah. The challenger rolls out, starts throwing strikes at Jericho before he puts in the Lion Tamer himself, which is what I was just talking about, placing pressure on the back of the champion. Jericho gets out and immediately is hit with a roundhouse kick to the head. And then it's time for the hammer and anvil elbow strikes. Jericho catches one, reverses it into a fireman's carry, providing some distance between them as he follows it up with a kick. But he then misses with the lion salt. Danielson doesn't miss with the leaping knee, though, and he follows it with a second. The American Dragon goes to the well too many times, though, and on the third attempt, he is caught with a code breaker in midair, leading to a near fall. Then Danielson gets shoved into the referee. Of course, we haven't seen this in a few weeks, so it was time for a ref knockout. And Daddy Magic then hands the ROH World Championship to Jericho, but Daniel Garcia runs down and pulls it away from him. I was like, all right, here we go. And then Garcia blasts Danielson with his own title, allowing the champion to retain. The way they kept talking about Garcia, I knew he wasn't fully out of the JAS. But I thought we were going to drag this on at least a couple more weeks.
I thought we would get a Garcia Jericho match. I thought this was a well played for Danielson because obviously looking in this, if you go to the age bracket, Danielson should win this match type deal. Jericho's going to need help in his 50s, and he got it. So Jericho keeps the title, but Danielson doesn't get hurt. So I think this was perfectly done.
Yeah.
Right. I saw a lot of people on Twitter complain about all Danielson does is take L's in AEW. I'm like, he doesn't take clean L's, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference. There's a difference. So, no, I thought maybe we're going to get Jericho Garcia at full gear, but then I kept thinking, I think they need to keep the ROH title on Jericho for a while to try to build up some credibility with the new ROH brand, especially if they're trying to get a TV or streaming deal or whatever it may be. So I liked what happened tonight. I mean, all of us, I think, want to like a babyface Garcia, but I think it's really good for the story that he went back heel. Now you can have some more match with him and Danielson. That was well done.
Yeah. After the match, Jericho and Garcia hug as Yuta, Claudio, and Regal come to help Danielson. No brass knucks this week. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping those were going to become a regular again.
Yep. Maybe they'll come out. So
maybe Mox will break them out.
Never know.
We then head backstage to Renee Paquette again, who I think now is has the third most backstage segments out of anybody in the company. She's shown with Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose as she claims to be the TBS champion.
And Mariah Shafir, right?
Yes, the Vixens, Vicious Vixens.
Mm-hmm.
Anna JAS appears and challenges her to a title match despite not being the real champion, and Rose accepts.
I thought Nyla was hilarious during this promo. She's always funny. She's entertaining. I don't care for Anna Jay. I'm sorry. I did at one time her character, and her cadence when she talks, not there for me.
No, she's trying to be too much like Ty, in my opinion. And she just needs to go back to being the Anna Jay who kicked Stu and threw him over things.
And how many times are we going to see her go for the TBS title? It's like every other week, and she loses. Yeah. And who's supposed to be the face in this feud, Nyla or Jade Cargill?
Yes.
It's got to be Jade. It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
You've put all your ducks behind Jade, so it's got to be her.
Yeah.
And when Nyla came on the scene 2 years ago, and AEW was fresh, and they pushed her, she was great. But I got nothing.
She doesn't need a mouthpiece, though. That's the thing with Vicky Graham. Put Vicky with somebody else. Nyla's fine. She doesn't need a mouthpiece.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like it, though, because Vicky doesn't have to talk.
That's
if we can get a segment without Vicky talking, she can be in it. That's fine. I don't care. Just don't. I don't want to. Excuse me.
Yeah, little ear piercing.
Yeah.
That was a little oddball.
Yep.
Hey, I tried my best to be Vicky. I failed miserably.
Yeah. Coming loud through the headphones here.
Yeah. Good. I wanted to make you deaf.
Yeah.
Headphones.
That's true.
Up next, we get Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker versus Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. How many times are we going to see this?
Well, not only that, what was it, 5 minutes? I mean,
yeah,
the women didn't get a lot of run tonight, and I thought the match was pretty good.
For the time, I thought it was entertaining.
And I was once again surprised they had Britt get pinned clean. I mean, how many times are we going to see that? But
I don't know.
But it makes sense. Toni Storm, Shida next week for the interim title. That makes sense.
Yep, and that's what it was doing, was setting it up. That's why Shida got the pin and got it over Baker. I don't think they want Hayter to take a whole bunch of L's right now.
I'm starting to agree with you there. Yep.
I think there's something coming big for Hayter.
He's over.
Based off of
crowd wants it.
Yeah,
crowd wants it.
Over.
Yeah, we all want it, not just the crowd. Jeez, Tanner.
Well, I noticed too. This is the first.
Aren't you part of the crowd?
No.
She ended up with some titles that obviously were outside the company, which AEW is really, really friendly about. I had no idea that she had won these titles back over in Japan or wherever.
I knew she had the one, but I didn't. The second one kind of threw me off.
One was an individual title, and the other one's a tag title.
Yeah, I don't know who she's with, but it's good to get her some experience being a champion. Maybe that's what they're wanting a little bit, and then
I enjoy that aspect of AEW where they let these outside titles come in.
Yeah. But yeah, Shida and Storm pick up the victory. Again, I like this, and I'm looking forward to Hayter's ultimate turn. I'm just going to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now finally time for the main event.
This should not have been a main event.
Oh.
Danielson, Jericho should have been a main event.
Hold on. Before we get into it, are you saying it because of their names? Or because of the way the match went?
No, before tonight, I thought that should have been. I thought that was going to be the main event. It should have been the main event
because of their names, not their performance.
Right, because of their names, and I thought their match was really good. Now I thought the main event match was fine, but with that being the main event, you knew what the result was going to be. The only intrigue I had was, were we possibly going to get the Elite coming back to cost Pac the title to set up a feud with Death Triangle for the trios, but we didn't get that. So I don't know. I just thought it was. I mean, I sent you guys a text before the show started. That was my bold prediction, and I was Orange was walking away with the titles.
Yeah, and notice, Shep, I tried to get him to put the title on the line.
Yeah, somebody wimped out.
Full
He's
gear.
too scared. He's too scared. And then we'll go Wednesday, not knowing a full card. We'll know like half the card. And you'll be like, maybe we just wait.
Well, I remember Paul. Hell, Paul put the title up on a Ring of Honor show. We had a Forbidden Door show. Paul was a pretty good fighting champion there, Tanner.
Yep. I'm trying to think.
You're just trying to.
No,
He's trying to hold it as long as he can because every time he wins it, he loses it at the following pay-per-view, and he knows it. So he doesn't want to defend it before that.
Go on with your main event, Reed. I got nothing.
Exactly. Remember, Shep, I tried to put this on. I was defending, and I said, you know what? I'll put it on the line for a baseball game. And he denied me. And he would have won the belt.
Yeah.
Not how I wanted to win it.
But all right. Main event is the All-Atlantic Championship match. Pac defending against Orange Cassidy. This was in my opinion, this was a pretty solid match. We saw the Brutalizer locked in a couple different times. Pac got busted open on the ear or in the ear or around the ear or something at some point.
How about that Falcon Arrow on the outside of the ring?
Oh,
Good
my
God.
Lord. Yeah. Man, the dude these guys were on fire tonight. Pac went for the hammer earlier, gets caught by the ref, so he has to put it back. Goes for it a second time, but this time Danhausen stops him.
Yes.
Cursed him, so there again, the curse from Danhausen back in full swing. It worked this time. Cassidy connects with multiple orange punches throughout this thing. Takes two to finally put Pac down, and Orange Cassidy gets the win and becomes the new All-Atlantic champion. Congratulations to Cassidy.
I thought this match was well done. Hard hitting, a lot of action. I know that it was unexpected, the blood from Pac's ears, but we've seen Pac's ears over the last 6-7 years, even with WWE. I mean, they're cauliflowered to heck.
Yeah.
So when that stuff gets hit the wrong way, they're gonna pop. It was a nice addition. I know it was unexpected, but yeah, nice addition.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Danhausen. It took him a while to rip all the math stuff off his face, but it's Danhausen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that Pac just stood there for all of it was even better. It's like, seriously, what are you going to do?
Yeah. The couple DDTs that Pac took, man, did he sell those out as yin?
Oh, God. Yes, he did.
Pac sells so well.
Yeah. So, I was Mr. Pockets. I'm not, I've been pretty critical on Pockets in the past. I don't dislike this though, even though I'm not a big fan of him. I don't dislike the way they did this. I thought it was well played, and we'll go from there. I love one of the best parts of the night. There's confetti coming from the turnbuckles, and he had the belt held like right here, like not even halfway. I'm like, yeah, I got a belt. I did kind of enjoy that. I marked out, okay. I'm not a big fan of his glasses and the pockets and all the BS, but he held the belt like, I like that.
I'm not a big Orange fan. I've said for a long time his character doesn't need a title because it didn't. But if he had to win a title, I think this is a good one for him to win. Yeah. I'd rather see him win this than the TNT. And I really think this could be a good feud eventually for Ethan Page. I think they brought that up for a reason with the firm. And him wanting to go after the All-Atlantic, and I think that would be a good title for him to go after. I did laugh when Rimsberg got all muscled up to Pac to stop him with the hammer. I cracked up on that. Yeah, I cracked up on that. And, but speaking of refs, I meant to mention this a few minutes ago. I forgot. Did you guys notice Aubrey Edwards did not officiate Jericho's match tonight?
Yeah, and she always does.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Where was she tonight? And what
I don't
match?
think she was on the. I don't think she was on the show.
Billy Gunn.
She was
Billy
on the
Gunn's
show?
match.
Oh, that's even weird. I didn't even know she was even on the show. So.
I at least I think it shows her in the picture, but it could be an older picture. So
I think she was there for the Billy Gunn match. She was there tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw her.
That's really interesting because she always did Jericho's matches, especially his big matches. So
I don't know. I think maybe after the Billy Gunn match, she went and had some bakery goods and bitched about Target.
might have. But Orange champion got one title off Pac, which is fine. He's still trios champ. So.
And I kind of think, I don't think this was the original plan. I think the backstage brawl led to this because there was already that, little bit of a feud going on between Pac and Orange. Now we want to focus on the trios. Now these guys have the trios. All right, so let's get this All Atlantic off of him. Let's bring that Pac Cassidy feud back up. Let's go ahead, give it to Cassidy. Pac can focus on the trios so that we can make those a thing.
I think you're right. I think you're on to something there.
But right now, the number one contender for those trios has got to be the Best Friends, right?
That's what I'm thinking. I can't even think of another trios that
Dark Order
be up there.
Yeah.
And I know Hangman brought him up. That
that or you go Warlord and FTR, but you don't want those guys to lose right now.
Right.
The Hardy Party. I'll call them that again.
For the love of God.
I've just listed trios at this point.
I said contenders.
Yeah, but
I've just listed trios.
The ones we can think of suck. That's the thing. Because there's no House of Black right now.
Yeah, the Hardy Party's contended for Subway $5 footlong of a week.
All right. So okay, let's say FTR Spears or FTR or Spears and Ward Joe.
Yeah, but does it really do anything to the titles? I feel like those guys are a step above those titles.
Right.
I don't want to be a jerk about it, but I don't think if you put those titles on FTR and Wardlow or FTR and Joe or FTR and Spears or whatever combination you want, I don't feel it elevates their character at the time.
No.
Put somebody with Steen and Darby. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know. We haven't seen Steen and Darby for a little while.
Do you have Darby join the House of Black?
You have to turn them. I think they're going to wait to see what's going on with Buddy and Malachi first.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to go. They want to leave too, be with their others. But
yeah.
I don't know.
But
there's a combination of these guys that want to leave. It's all about women.
Oh, every single one. They're here. They're
lesson learned, people.
Noted.
Coming from a married man.
Noted.
Coming from a married man, even Shep. Jeez.
She's asleep. She don't listen.
She'll never know.
Solid show, though. Solid show.
It was a solid show. But I don't know. Malachi has said he doesn't want to leave. So
I don't know. That thing. I'm interested to see what happens there because this contract's so long. I don't know. Well, and who would have been a good team was Undisputed Era. I'm calling them because I don't remember what their Undisputed Elite or whatever. But Bobby Fish now is the CM Punk version, or he thinks he's the CM Punk of Impact. Kyle O'Reilly's gonna be out for like a year. Not sure when Cole's coming back, so that went out the wayside.
But I tell you, there's a free agent out there that I really enjoy, and he's got rumors to go everywhere else but AEW. But boy, Matt Taven.
I was gonna say it's Matt Taven, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I enjoyed his work in Ring of Honor, but now he's free, and he's got history in New Japan. They say actually WWE's interested in him. And then they got, Bennett and what's his wife's name?
Maria Kanellis.
I could give just about that.
I know Maria wants in AEW, but I don't know.
Yeah. I was more interested in Matt Taven.
Yep.
I thought Matt Taven was a really good ROH champion. So, really good worker too. So
yeah. All right, boys. Thoughts on the show? Let's let the champ go first. Rating.
No, I really enjoyed tonight's show. I just had a couple nitpicks. I still wish Jericho and Danielson was the main event. I wish there was another women's match. You honestly could have had the women's match where the Wardlow match was, and you could have still had a segment with those guys to set up that feud with the Ring of Honor team. I don't know what Cage is called. I don't know what they're calling their team.
The Embassy.
Yeah, there we go. The Embassy. You could have done an angle with them. You didn't have to have a match. You could have had another women's match. I didn't think the women got a lot of time, but I thought they did well with the time they were given. So with all that said, I'll go 8-1.
whoa, that's
Okay.
horrible.
Yeah, I was ready to
All
go higher for a while tonight, and then pulled it back.
All right.
I like the show. I thought the title change in the main event was okay. If you're gonna have a title change, it's gonna be the main event, right?
And he's a big baby. A lot of the crowd likes him.
But I was 7.3 tonight.
All right. Well, I'm gonna fall perfectly in between you guys and go.
That was
7-7.
predictable. That was predictable. Paul coming in the middle.
Hey, no, I was actually at 7-6, but I didn't want to do the 6, so I bumped it up a point today.
All right.
So it's just there was some weird stuff that didn't need to be there. The TV segment just felt. I didn't make it through everything, so I didn't even know Nyla stole the belt. So I was very confused when that happened. So I had to go look up what was going on, and then that led me to Jade acting like a baby face on Twitter. So there you go.
Yep, it's and the one weird thing tonight too. Of course, they gave you the Rampage matches, but nothing for next week's Tuesday night Cincinnati Dynamite. So I'm guessing on Rampage we'll get that card. That's just unusual.
Apart from the World Championship match, which we've known about forever.
Well, and I take that back because we also got the interim AEW women's match announced for next week.
Yeah.
And MJF, never mind. I'm an idiot. MJF's going to have a talk, and then there's going to be a sit down with Wheeler, Yuta, and is it Mox or Claudio with Renee?
I don't know.
It's
I didn't catch that.
It's Brian Danielson, I think.
Oh, you're right. Danielson and Yuta. Yep. So I'm an idiot. Carry on.
Well, because we didn't get Excalibur spitting it out in about 30 seconds flat this week. He slowed it down a little bit.
He was fast, just normal fast, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So his mask.
Yeah.
William Regal loves himself the man in the mask.
Yeah, he's like a cotton candy that he wants to let melt in his mouth.
God, he says some weird stuff, but it's funny. But it's
Regal.
God.
All right. We'll start with you this time, Shep. Wrestler of the night.
Shoo, man, this was difficult. I'm gonna go Hangman Page. And we didn't wrestle, but man, he blew me away tonight on the mic.
Stop stealing my crap, dude.
But I thought this guy, for not having to wrestle, almost darn near stole the show.
Yeah, he was strong. He made me, because I don't think the outcome. I think the outcome's pretty cut and dry for next week, but he still made me want to buy a ticket for that show. If that makes sense. I mean, I'm gonna be in front of my TV next Tuesday night because I want to see that main event.
Yeah, I'm actually not going to be home and in a different location, and I'm freaking buying the whole nother cable off branch just so that I can watch it where I'm going to be.
Free trial.
Okay, still, I got to get new stuff.
No, I know. You just got to make sure you cancel it before the trial goes out, or then you're on the hook. So,
yeah,
Paul,
I'll just charge it to Tanner's card. Well, the easy one would be to go with Cassidy for picking up the victory here.
Figure that's where you're going.
I know you figured that's where you were going.
You know
what?
In the middle of our rankings. I thought you just go the easy route.
Yeah. Well, I can't take Hangman anymore. So let's do the returning Perfect 10, Sean Spears.
That's a good one.
Babyface, he's repackaged. He's acknowledging the 10 that he hated for so long after leaving WWE. So I'm all for it.
I can make a case for Luchasaurus. I can make a case for Orange Cassidy, of course, and even for Sheeta. But I'm going with MJF. The guy just steals it every week for me. I mean, it was 2 segments this week because he, of course, the promo he killed, but then in the promo of the night with Hangman and Mox, he gets the crowd on his side there too. So,
and his facial expressions were pretty good during that.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking and he's just like,
when they panned to him about after Hangman said, "My old friends are gone," he's like,
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good.
just eating the popcorn as these two are about to tear each other's heads off.
how good does these promos have to be for 2 guys that watch the show from start to finish? And we had some pretty darn good wrestling tonight. Okay,
Yeah,
not knocking that, but you had 2 guys pick guys that didn't even work tonight.
Yep.
Did promos. That's how real that was.
Yep.
So that's pretty big if you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, and MJF always brings on the mic, but like Hangman, I think that's something he's struggled with a lot in the past, but tonight I think it was the strongest he's ever been.
But tonight it felt real.
It did.
It didn't feel like a promo. Like we know MJF can talk, we know Mox can talk, but this guy, he made you bring it in like it's real.
Oh snap!
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a shoot, man. I'm gonna bust myself open. I have, he's always talked about his mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I have anxiety. He calls himself the millennial cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
He's modern day stuff. So for him to say that stuff and then all of a sudden just go off, like you're like, man, this guy's living his character. He's real.
Yeah.
Which that's why I'm a huge Eddie Kingston fan. We've always talked about that. Like he went a step towards Eddie Kingston tonight. Like I believe this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the meds, but they're not working.
Yeah. He's talking meds about his mental health. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the guy drank in character.
Yeah.
You know, he was trying to ease his pain. Now he's trying
which
something else.
Which I thought was very classy that he did not bring drinking up because he's working with Mox.
100%. And you notice that's kind of when he stopped his character in general with the drinking was when Moxley went to rehab.
Yeah.
They kind of just got. They were like, all right, we're gonna. He doesn't need that anymore. So,
Hey, you can respect that.
yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
Yeah.
No, these 2 guys are AEW through and through, and that's what I can respect about this feud big time. And we haven't seen it. So
Right, and I'm really hoping it carries past next Tuesday because I think we could get a great program with these 2.
yeah, and hopefully, Dip stuff Stokely involves himself or something, and maybe it extends it with Hangman. But
and now who got involved in GCW? I know it was Morrissey, but was Stokely there too?
Stokely was there,
was there.
And Morrissey showed up, and Morrissey powerbombed him, and whatever.
I did hear that Lauderdale or somebody, maybe it wasn't Lauderdale, but somebody with GCW said they had no say in how all that went about at the end. So that was an agreement. Something with Tony.
Which I could see. Gage cut a promo about, hey, he kind of buried AEW, saying, hey, Moxley signed this contract. He can't work wherever he wants. Moxley came out and said, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I was texting you guys. Like, I watched that match, and at the first 10 minutes of that match, Gage looked so bad. He stumbled. He fumbled. I think I even referenced it to the Ric Flair last.
He did.
And Mox beat him up pretty good, and blood and light tubes and pizza cutters and yada, 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 yada.
No Domino's commercials, though.
Yeah, no Domino's commercials. So I really didn't think that at the start. I'm like, man, Mox is going to go over and Gage is done, which he's at the age like he can't go anymore. I was wrong, but I don't know. It works well for AEW and Mox. Okay, for the future of GCW, which I know we're not a GCW podcast, and I enjoyed GCW to a point. Their world title picture sucks right now. Yeah. Okay, and the only thing I can think of is they're going to bring Cardona back. But yeah, Nick Gage can't work hard like he used to, and whatever. I know. I'm sure GCW fans, if anyone watches this, they'll shoot me, but whatever.
Is Nick Wayne part of GCW? But I know he's technically signed to like a futures contract with AEW.
Yeah, so he's what, 20 years old now, and
I didn't know he's 18 yet.
I think he was 19, just turned 20. No, sorry, 18, just turned 19. Because he had to graduate high school before his AEW contract took effect. He's had some killer matches of late. I hope that still works with AEW. But, I mean, he traveled to Japan with GCW. I think he's down in Mexico this weekend with GCW. So
as of February, Shep, he was 16.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, he's really there than I thought.
So that's probably why. I mean, I'm guessing when he's 18, then his contract will come.
Yeah, he's
which is even more crazy with the stuff he does when he's 16 years old.
Traveling the heck out of the weekend. Can you imagine being in his high school going, "Hey, we got to wrestle in Mexico this weekend. We got to get an excused absence so we can catch a flight."
Yeah. Nick, what are you doing this weekend? Well, going to Mexico to wrestle.
Yeah.
So, Alley Catch, we talked about earlier in other podcasts. I mean, she's debuted for Impact of late. So, they're again. I love GCW. I'm not a big ultra violent deathmatch guy. Gringo Loco is one of my favorites. I think that dude is really good. He worked for Warrior Wrestling when they were in South Bend, Indiana, really close to our hometown. So he's working for AAA now too. There's some really good talent in GCW besides the the deathmatch stuff, which not my cup of tea, but hey,
exploding barbed wire deathmatch.
Hey, to each their own.
Yeah.
There's plenty of wrestling out there for everybody to watch whatever they want. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not down with that, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not scissoring. Sorry, boys. Tanner, you can continue to scissor yourself. We won't comment on that.
Whoa.
All right.
4-1 last night, Paul. 4-1 Yankees.
Oh, really?
Man, you had to go there.
I wasn't going to, but
tomorrow night's a different night.
That's at least the same result, though.
You know what? At least when you guys come to Cleveland, our fans aren't going to throw crap on the field. Okay,
it's the Bronx.
We have respectful fans.
Oh, Yankees fans don't care.
No.
They are embarrassment more times than not. So.
But you know what? We've got the greatest deep ball hitter in all of professional baseball.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we do. Hosey's better. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. Ask the Miz. He'll tell you too. He's got a signed bat.
God. You just brought the Miz. I'm done.
And that's how we wrap the show tonight. Hey, be sure to follow the Kicking Out podcast on all social media platforms at Kicking Out Pod. And while you're checking out our social media platforms, be sure to click on the 2 different links we've got there so you can buy some KOP merchandise. We've got some great shirts, 2 different stores. Tanner's rocking the NWO black and white KOP shirt. We've got the classic style still over on our other store. So
it's
go
hoodie
check them
season.
out.
Go buy a hoodie.
Yes, I'm going to buy me a hoodie probably this weekend or
There you
by the end of October at least. It depends on how things line up for me. Yeah, and be sure to listen to the Kicking Out podcast everywhere you listen to your podcast. And if that happens to be Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us that 5-star rating because we are 5-star KOP. With that, for Tanner Lee, well, I guess I should be nice to him, shouldn't I, Shep? Go follow Tanner Lee on all social media at TannerLee92. Follow Austin Shepard at the Shep27, and be sure to follow myself at Paul Zartman 921. And with that, for Tanner Lee and Austin Shepard, I'm Paul Zartman. Be sure to join these guys again next week as they kick out yet another podcast.